We've removed laminate flooring, and now we want to install tile into our new kitchen. Here are the steps we will take in doing that, and here are the list of tools you will need. So, we need to find our midway line of our room by measuring on both sides of the longest wall. The first goal of the midway line is to find how square our room is. The second goal of our midway line is to also avoid having non-matching cut pieces on each end of the room. Mark the midway line and snap a chalk line. This blue mark is our midway line. We now check our highest point in the entire room and we'll start there. The reason being is we can always build tiles up using thinset but cannot make a tile go down. Lay a single row of tiles in both directions without mortar, including spacers starting at the midway point. Stop when there's not enough room for a full tile. If the space at each end of either row is smaller than 1/3 of a tile, adjust your midway line so that each are half of a tile. Now we are ready to start laying our tile. But wait. Let's back up a bit. We need to show you how to mix the mortar. This is thinset mortar and the bonding agent we are using to attach tile to our concrete subfloor. Using a bucket and a drill with a mixing paddle, mix until the mortar is the consistency of thick peanut butter. Flooring trowels have both a smooth edge and a notched edge. We are using a 3/8 toothed flooring trowel appropriate for a 16-inch tile. Comb the thinset evenly using the notched side of the trowel. Avoid circular and swirling patterns and set your tile. Use a small, thin trowel to remove excess on the edges of your tile, and of course, keep the face clean with a sponge if necessary. We constantly check for level and that we are flush with our previous piece. Again, do you notice our blue level? This is our midway line, and our guide or straight edge for half of the room's install. These are our spacers. We are going with the smallest grout line possible, 1/16 of an inch. You can use tape if your tile is wanting to slip away from the previous piece. Some people push with their hands or the level, but a rubber mallet is very helpful to adjust how high your tile sits on the thinset. Once we have 3 to 4 tiles set on our midway point, we can now slide down our straight edge. Double check often that your lines are straight. If you find an alignment issue with the tiles while the mortar is still wet, you can straighten them before continuing. Now that we have made it to the wall, we will need to make cuts. One way to measure a cut is to simply place the tile and trace it. For this one, we will need to measure the notch around the door jamb. A wet saw can be daunting, but it is relatively safe and easy to use. Always wear eye protection and measure twice before cutting. Adjust your tile along the fence so that the marked line lines up with the blade. Cut slowly to avoid chipping the tile. You might need to use a grinder to make smaller cuts. Or to remove any burrs, such as these. Never dive into a piece, but rather take your time and cut slowly. Make sure to be gentle with the notched cut pieces. They are fragile. You might need to cut the door casing to fit your tile underneath, and make sure your cut is square. We continue to check that our pieces are flush, level, and square as we go, and we finish our cuts along this wall. Here is our original midway line, laid with our straight edge. Now it's simply about finishing the other half of the room, exactly the same way we have done. And now for the grout. Remove all your tile spacers. Your grout should be the consistency of mayonnaise or pudding. Spread grout in sweeping arcs with the rubber grout float held at a shallow angle. Focus on a small 4x4 section. Remove the excess grout with the grout float. The cement grout will set in about 5 to 15 minutes and have a putty-like consistency. As soon as you're complete with one section, take a damp sponge and make a pass cleaning the tile. Remove any remaining haze by using an old t-shirt or cheesecloth. And we're done. For more videos in this series, go to bestonlinecabinets.com.